Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we have another Gun Gripe episode for you. You guys are probably familiar with Gun Gripes. They've been around a long time. We touch on all different kind of subjects, and today we're touching on a subject that I wish we didn't have to be talking about. But you guys know, unless you've been living under a rock recently, that there was a shooting in Orlando, Florida this past Sunday, which, you know, this day we're like 3 days in. So there's still some developments, and there's still some things that are being put out in terms of investigations that are ongoing, things like that. And I'll say right out the gate that I really feel for the families of those that were affected by this. It's always hard to find sense in a tragedy like this and to find the reason why. You feel empty and you feel left out. You feel like something was taken from you, and there's no way to explain why. And I've been in that situation before, and I know how it feels to just be mad and not knowing why that person had to be taken from you at a time that you weren't expecting it to occur. And I get that, and I totally feel for the gay and lesbian community and the transgender community. I understand where those people are coming from, and I know that they're fighting a very tough fight, and I support the fight that they are putting up with on a daily basis just to live as human beings in this society and to have to put up with all the crap that they have to deal with on a regular basis. I understand that fight, and I feel for those people. But on that token, when you look at everything that's coming out of it, there are a lot of anti-gun talks that are being, drawn to the table right now. And as much as it sucks to politicize it in some sort of way, to a degree, videos like this have to get made, because if we don't, they're going to sweep it under the rug and they're going to kiss your rights goodbye if you don't take the time to just sort it all out and make sure you understand what page that we're all really on here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing just so much reading on this, and there's so many reports of the shooting coming out and everything that's been going on in Orlando, which has been crazy lately with the other events that are happening. We're not going to get into all that, but I'm not terribly impressed with our president on a lot of occasions, but I was impressed that they actually did come out and call this an act of terrorism, which they should have, unlike what they did in San Bernardino, would kind of beat around the bush a little bit and think about workplace violence at first and not really call it what it was. Election cycles are weird like that, but it like Eric said, it's tragedy. It really is. But I thought about the people in that club. Okay, so just a lot of people together having fun. All right, it's a packed night because it's like a special event or whatever the case is, and this guy walks in. I mean, unnoticed, I guess, because no one was paying attention. No one had their head on a swivel, and just went to town. I mean, it's like a shooting gallery. Shooting. I mean, how does that work? And then, the response time was a little bit slow because there was some word of explosives being in the building. So the police and SWAT team weren't really sure how to go about that. They were getting bomb squad and stuff involved, and talking with the guy, and some communication going back and forth, and he was holding hostages. I mean, you never know what is going on in a situation like that. But yeah. I will, and I know Eric will too, we certainly commend the police force and the SWAT team, first responders in Orlando, because that's a tough job, and it takes a lot of guts and courage to go into a situation like that. I mean, that one guy he took a round in his Kevlar helmet, and the helmet saved his damn life.
That's right. And definitely to mirror what Chad said, the Orlando PD, you guys are awesome, and the 911 operators, firemen, first responders, EMTs, police, SWAT team. I mean, these people are everyday heroes. They're heroes for a living. That's what they do. These guys put themselves in danger every single day. Heck, there's heroes that work in hospitals, and those hospitals that one hospital there did everything they could to make sure that all those people got the exact treatment they needed, and they were Johnny on the spot and making sure those resources were available to help the victims of the people that were affected. So we should definitely, give them credit where it's due, that they really did their jobs. They earned their pay that night. Okay.
Yeah, there were a lot of people
there were
a lot of people in that club too, from stories I see coming out, that really did save other people's lives.
Yep.
And this was a very heartless act. and it was committed under the guise of an ideology, and it's hard to fight an ideology, but
a sick and twisted and evil and pointless ideology, I might add.
But to blame the tool is the entire premise of this gripe is blaming the tool is not where the blame should be laid.
I mean, if he can't represent all Muslims, then he shouldn't be able to represent all gun owners. And the problem is with these shootings is that they always put gun owners on a pedestal and they point their wicked little fingers at us and they go, it's your fault that this happened because you've got your AR-15s and all this crap, and they're blaming the tool for what happened. That's like saying that a guy, because he used a certain type of hammer, built your house crooked. Well, no, it ain't the hammer's fault. It's the guy that built the house. So they're talking about building the house, okay? Talking of building a house, what we're going to look at is the fact that when they're going after the Second Amendment, they are actually going after the very pillars that build our house, when you want to talk about that. And right now, there's already the dust hasn't even settled. The investigation hasn't even been completed. Probably, if I had to guess, some of the families probably haven't even been notified completely yet. And they're already got your rights on the chopping block. I was talking to some of the guys over at the ILA branch of the NRA there, and we were having a chat about some of the stuff that's going on with Feinstein and Schumer and all these people out in California. They're already, the ink is still drying on the legislation. They're wringing it out right now. Oh, wait, I can't send this over your desk yet. The ink's still wet. They are literally trying to push up, a series of legislation through already to include a renewed and more aggressive assault weapons ban, and all of these feel-good, fuzzy things that are going to make them feel good. It's just a feel-good act. But guys, we all know that all that's a bunch of crap. It's all smoke and mirrors, and it's all a knee-jerk reaction to try to take away your rights. Taking away the rights of the average person is not going to prevent these types of things from happening. It's actually the opposite. More people should be armed, should have training, should carry every single day. And these acts will be prevented with that type of thing being put forward.
Yeah, they may not be prevented 100%, but folks who want to commit these crimes will not be able to find places where they will be easy. Where there will be easy targets. I mean, this nightclub, most places like that are gun-free zones.
Yep.
No firearms allowed. Okay, so probably nobody in that place was packing a firearm at all. But if legal concealed carry was used, then there may have been a handful of people, maybe half of the club. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how many gun owners there are that went to that club, but if guns were allowed, I mean, who knows? There may have been a different outcome. We can only speculate, but these crimes don't take place in gun-free zones for no reason at all. Okay, their gun-free zones are targeted for that reason.
Soft target.
Soft target.
Now,
I mean, no resistance.
Some of the early preliminary reports that I read that there was a police officer outside that exchanged gunfire with the subject before he entered the club. I'd kind of like to know what happened there. I mean, it's still a little confusing as to what exactly occurred.
I didn't hear outside the club. I heard inside the club,
Yeah.
I mean, from what I read. But there was one security officer. I don't even know if it was a cop. It was a security officer.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's still a lot of details that at this point are a little bit unclear about exactly what happened with the shooting itself. I mean, at this point right now, they're actually talking about, bringing charges down on the guy's wife because she had knowledge that these things were going to occur, and she had knowledge of, them going around and buying guns,
buying ammo,
and buying
casing
ammo,
the
and
place.
casing the property. And she knew that it would be odd why would you drive 125 miles to go somewhere? She knew the writing was on the wall, and she didn't tell authorities, which makes her just as guilty as the guy that pulled the trigger.
She's certainly an accomplice to it. I mean,
this whole thing could have been prevented if she would have just went to the authorities and said, look, my husband's crazy. He's about to go shoot up this club. And you should probably do something about it.
Well, just like the couple in San Bernardino. I mean, he was the lone wolf, if you will, and she was the supporter of that. I mean, behind the scenes. Who knows? But,
it's messed up no matter how you look at it. But the bottom line is that my rights will not be sold up the creek, and neither will yours. And anytime these senseless tragedies occur, they're always quick to point the finger at the gun as being the cause of the problem and the fact that we have guns and all of this crap. But my rights will not be sold down the creek, and neither will yours. You know, we've already had an assault weapons ban that lasted 10 years. In '94, assault weapons ban lasted till 2004. And in that assault weapons ban, there was a lot of bullcrap things that banned simple features of a firearm. Now, we're talking cosmetic features. The base function of the firearm was not changed at all. And they thought, oh, well, if we make them not look as scary, maybe they won't be used in as many crimes. But the problem is the data on the crimes they had is rifles aren't used in freaking crimes.
Yep. So, all right, collapsible stocks makes the gun more deadly. Okay, these were banned. High-capacity magazines, or standard capacity magazines as any gun owner knows them, 30-round mags, banned. Flash hiders, banned. Bayonet lugs. I think they increased the rate of fire. You know, so
exactly.
all these cosmetic features were banned on your common AR-15, and you know the liberal logic was those features made those guns more deadly, and there was
scary.
There was so little data on the result. You know, I guess the positive result as far as crime goes, reducing crime during that time span, that the data is inconclusive. They can't even say whether or not it made a difference because there's so little information on what actually it helped. It didn't, because rifles like this are not used in crimes. Handguns are used in crimes more than anything else. You want to look at handguns, you look at Chicago and all the violence that occurs up in Chicago with a standing assault weapons ban in place. Now,
you probably have a better chance of falling off a ladder and dying than being shot with a rifle in the U.S.
Oh, good God, you got a better chance of just about anything than getting into a fight with a rifle or whatever, or having a rifle pointed at you in a crime.
Banning a firearm based on its cosmetic features are dumb. It's just a completely dumb and senseless idea. This is an original Henry. Okay, this is a great gun. So 4440.
It's got that high capacity clip on it.
Oh, right? Yeah. Back in the day, you could load this thing on Sunday and shoot all week, though.
14 shots.
14 rounds. So that's a lot of ammo. Oh, we're talking about, this is back when most everybody else had single shots. So what, do I have an advantage that is a 1,500%, or, you know, I have a whatever percentage that would be, you know, of a chance of winning over a guy with a single shot? I mean, come on.
You talk about rifles used in crime in the U.S., and especially like if you talk about AR-15s specifically used in like mass shootings. All right, AR-15s used in mass shootings account for less than, I think it's like 0.000017% of all the AR-15s in the country. So you're going to take and blame the tool that was used, blame all lawful gun owners who own these firearms, who use them not only for self-defense purposes, because I personally want to have a bigger stick if I'm trying to defend myself and my family and maintain my individual liberty.
Right.
I want the bigger stick. So sporting use, hunting, competition, self-defense, life and liberty, whatever you want to call it, this is the free man's rifle.
That's right. And also, the rights that you have, in addition to the Second Amendment, are protected by...
You know, like you said, building the house.
Exactly. You know? It is building the house. I mean, when you look at all the pillars that make up our rights as a whole, when you chip away one little bit of pillar, it falls off, and then it crumbles away, then the other one crumbles, and all of a sudden the roof starts caving in. Then all of a sudden you don't have it anymore because the rest of the rights can just be completely eroded and taken away from you because your Second Amendment rights are one of the most important rights, dare I say duty, that the American citizen has. This is what separates us from the rest of the world right here, is the fact that we are armed, and this is our right from birth to have these firearms. And the thing is, it's really messed up when they start talking about banning guns. It's really scary because they live in a utopian society where they live in a gated community with armed guards, with MP5s and radios, and vicious dogs, and all of this crap. And these people do not live within the common bounds of reality that the rest of us do. They cannot possibly understand the self-defense needs of the average person, nor do they probably even care. And the where you're being lied to if you're an anti-gunner or a pro-gunner, regardless of what your stance is on guns, they do not care about you. They don't care if you live or die. They don't care if you can defend yourself or not. Do you think for 1 second, if you're an anti-gunner and you're going, well, fine, they should just take all the guns because if they do, I'll be safe. Well, that doesn't matter to you. You're not the one that's going to be safe. The politicians who have the warm, fuzzy feeling of feeling even more warm and fuzzy because they're even safer because no one else has guns but them. The people that are anti-gun in our government are actually not anti-gun. They're actually pro-gun. They're pro them having guns and you not.
Yep.
So, oh yeah, they want their guards to have the newest and greatest machine gun or MP5 or P90. Oh yeah. When it comes to them being protected, you better believe they're going to have the latest and greatest because their lives matter to them, not you.
Well, I'll elaborate on something real quick that I was listening to a radio program the other day and I heard about an article in the last Saturday's edition of the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and I went out and grabbed the paper and I'll just kind of summarize, but basically it was an article about how Obama is so appreciative and he, is very thankful for the men that protect his daughters with guns. So his security force that pretty much goes everywhere with his family, he's Secret Service protection, of course. His daughters have Secret Service protection.
Yeah.
And they are protected 24/7 with people with guns. So guns are good enough for the elite in this country, as Eric is basically saying, but they're not good enough for the common man.
Right.
Okay? That is the big thing that we're talking about here. And, this new legislation that's going to be coming down the pipeline, I mean, like Eric said, I mean, the ink is still wet. I mean, they're just salivating like rabid dogs.
They're just hoping something sticks. They're taking a jar of wet spaghetti and they're throwing it at the wall and they're hoping something sticks to the wall. But even if a sliver sticks to the wall, they're like, yes.
See, they're hoping to garner more and more support by these emotional dealings and just tugging at people's heartstrings after a tragedy like this in order to strip lawful gun owners of their rights. And it's incredulous. It really is. I mean, there's so much hypocrisy on the left, it is not even funny. You want to talk about some hypocrisy, I'm not trying to get real political or go off on a crazy tangent, but Hillary Clinton, she has a foundation, the Clinton Foundation, okay? They take money from all these Arab countries who support Sharia law. All right, if you're not familiar with Sharia law, it's very hard
Arcane.
on, it's very, very hard on women, very hard on gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgender people. It's hard on everything that they don't stand for. So your freedom of speech, nah, if you're a woman, sorry, you ain't got it. You have specific dress that you have to wear. If you don't do that, you'll be stoned. If you're gay, you'll probably be killed. You'll be executed because of your choice in life.
And you better believe they're going to have guns and you're not.
Now, there are some on the far left who want that sort of law to replace our Constitution. There are progressives that are that far left wing that they want Sharia law here because they think it would be the best thing for the country. You know what? F you.
Oh, well, speaking of FU, though.
Yeah, Chris Cox, yeah. Hillary's social media manager. She told Chris Cox to F off.
Yeah, that's mature.
Okay, so that's real good. That's real mature.
That's mature, isn't
Yeah.
it? This is really scary, guys, and we don't want to undermine anyone's efforts in their everyday lives. I mean, every single day, some guy grabs his AR-15, puts it behind the seat of his truck, goes to work, does his thing, does whatever he's going to do, goes about his daily life, goes home. AR-15 never killed anybody and won't kill anybody. I guarantee you, if you go to South Georgia and you look at 5 pickup trucks, 3 out of 5 of them have an AR behind the seat. All 5. Okay, fine, all 5. But I promise you, there are plenty of these freaking guns everywhere. And I would ask you to look at it like this.
Millions.
If these guns were so deadly and everybody just wanted to kill the crap out of you, if you're one of those anti-gun people that are quivering going, oh, when's the next shooting going to be? Well, all these millions of ARs didn't kill anybody today. I mean, think about it statistically. If you remove the emotion from the entire situation and look at the pure logic of what is going on here, think about how many of these rifles are out there and how common they are. and how few of them are actually used in any real crime. And the ones that actually are used in crime, probably 80% of that crime is committed by a bunch of stupid gangbangers. So take your pick. Those people are leading a life, those gangbangers are leading a life that ends pretty simply. They're either going to get shot by a regular gun owner who's fed up with their crap and they knocked on the wrong door that day, or
shot by a fellow gang member,
or shot by a fellow gang member, or thrown in jail.
Yep.
There are only so many paths that life can lead down, and that path is a byproduct of their existence. But the byproduct of me being a gun owner is not you getting shot by my gun. You can't blame the tool for what the end user is going to use it for. It's the whole crooked house thing. The hammer doesn't make the house crooked. It's the guy that built the house. So it's just crazy that they use that as a reason for trying to take your rights away.
Well, of course. Well, the firearms used in this heinous act were acquired legally. From what I read, the fellow was a certified security officer, and he's held some sort of permit with the state of Florida. I'm not sure whether it was a concealed weapons type permit, like a carry permit or not. But, he passed a background check on his firearms, and he picked them up. Okay, so, okay, let's think about that for a minute. All right, remember what happened in France? All right, France has some of the toughest gun laws in the entire world. They don't allow their citizens to own firearms, I don't think, at all. But this terrorizer.
Yeah, old Bush, old GW.
There's terrorizers.
There's terrorizers.
All right, so this terrorist, he decided that he was going to kill a bunch of people. So what did he do? Well, he acquired a weapon to do that.
And if he couldn't find that weapon, he just would have made a bomb.
How did they do that? We got laws. How did he do that? How did he get that gun? We've got laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Criminal was always going to find a way to get a firearm. If that guy wouldn't have been able to acquire that AR to shoot those people up in Orlando like he did, he would have just made a bomb or drove a truck through the building. He would have found a way to commit the hatred that he wanted to commit. When someone has a cold heart and an evil mind, a cold, evil existence, they're going to find a way to hurt others no matter what.
Yeah.
And the answer is not taking away rights from the average person to try to avoid those, make those things keep from happening. It's just not.
I want to bring something else to the table too. This was a terrorist act. If you are living under a rock and you are so blind to not see that terrorists are in our communities now, and they are likely just plotting their next attack. Okay, these might be little lone wolf things. They're, oh yeah, he praised ISIS and all this kind of stuff and blah, 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 yakety yak. Okay, well, guess what? If we ban firearms, ban rifles, whatever, then you're taking away the rights.
Everywhere's a gun-free zone.
Yeah, everywhere's a gun-free zone, but you're taking away our right to defend ourselves against terrorists who are likely on our shores now. This is a war we are fighting, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Not only abroad, but here now. There's more and more of this crap going on, and it's not, right-wing extremist Christians committing these acts. I'm not even going to get into all that,
there's a reason that this guy didn't go to the biker bar, okay? Because he would have got his butt blown away right when he walked in the door by, probably would have got 15, 1911s pointed at him.
Well, don't forget, too, we always go off on so many crazy tangents because there's so much that we talk about prior to doing these videos. But the thing to remember is these people who want to take your rights away and our rights collectively, they look at this rifle here. They look at this as a baby killing tool. Okay? The only thing this is meant for is, firing as many rounds a second as, what's his nuts in California said, 30 magazine clips per second.
Whatever. Whatever.
So,
yeah, that crap is so irrelevant. That person is just an ant that if the crap hits the fan, he's going to be irrelevant. His opinion doesn't matter because he's such a wimp that he's just going to be dead anyway.
Oh, speaking of wimps, I got something else to talk about. But this gun is a semi-automatic firearm. I can only fire it as fast as I can pull the trigger. This is not an assault weapon. There's a common misconception out there from Hollywood, from all the political noise that's out there about assault weapons and how anybody can go out and get a machine gun. Oh, those things are scary. We got to ban those.
Yeah.
Every rifle, every black rifle is a machine gun. It's an assault weapon. No, it's not. Get a little bit of research under your belt. go out and find out for yourself why they are so wrong, and maybe you might be enlightened. But speaking of wimps, you remember this. This is funny.
I know.
Oh, God, let me find him. All right.
Paint the mental picture
right,
for
so,
us, Chad. Just let me just put this image in my mind.
So this guy,
Let's do it.
this guy with the New York Daily News, I don't know how true this is, but being in New York, I would imagine. All right, so what is it like to fire an AR-15? It's horrifying, dangerous, and very, very loud. The recoil bruised my shoulder. The brass shell casings disoriented me as they flew past my face. The smell of sulfur and destruction made me sick. The explosions, loud like a bomb, gave me a temporary case of PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome for you that don't like acronyms. For at least an hour after firing the gun, I was just anxious and irritable. Oh my God!
Sign me up. That sounds like fun.
What did he fire? A shoulder-mounted howitzer?
Dude.
Or, I mean, my son is 5 years old and he shoots my ARs. He doesn't complain like this guy did.
Yeah.
I would bet to say he has never fired a firearm in his entire life.
Turn in your freaking man card.
God almighty, man.
All right.
Sorry,
Here's another thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to close this video out, but I do want to touch on one other thing, Actually, a few other things, but if you haven't, make sure you go over to the NRA's website. I know we mentioned it earlier, but there's actually a call to action on there where you can contact all of your, senators and congressmen and anybody that'll listen. You need to contact them. There is a contact button on there. Make sure you go over to NRA's website. And I'll just leave you with this one little bit of thing here. I don't want to fear bait. I don't want to make it sound like we're trying to get everyone to get scared and go out and buy ARs. That's not what this is about.
No, but they're going to do it anyway. So.
They're going to do it anyways. But talking about the 94 ban that lasted from 94 to 2004, there was a little bit of a stipulation that was left in that. Well, for one, the data was completely inconclusive. So not only, I don't mean inconclusive in that, let's try it again because we don't know what's going to happen. Inconclusive as in, why did we do this? Like they even forgot the reason that they even did it in the first place because the data was so inconclusive that it just didn't even merit it to begin with. But as far as I know, there's a stipulation in that I think that Hillary is going to find out. There's a bit of kind of a crux there, is that it leaves a stipulation that a future ban cannot encompass a firearm that is in common use. And that's a Supreme Court measure. The Supreme Court would have to actually go to the drawing table again and determine that an AR-15 is not in common use.
That's would be bogus. Difficult.
There are this is America's rifle. There are more AR-15s out there in terms of black rifles than there are anything else. Only a moron would go to the table and say, "Oh, this is not in common use, so we're going to add it to some arbitrary bullcrap ban." You can't ban something that's in common use. This firearm is in common use.
Not only by citizens, but police, military, security forces.
It's here to stay.
I mean, other countries around the world. I mean, and it's kind of an antiquated design almost, but I mean, it's what, 60 years old now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's an antique, right? Yeah, whatever. But, guys, we hope that this video made some sense. I know that we touched on a lot of different things, and there's honestly probably some things that we left out in the video. So
always do.
I would definitely encourage you guys to do your research and make sure that you're kind of following up on things and make sure you're paying attention to things that are going on. If you're a pro-gun guy,
that's the biggest thing.
Right now is definitely the time we need to be rallying our troops and keeping our ears to the ground. Oh, speaking of Indians,
all right,
we'll leave you with one last thought before we end today's video. Chad's going to mention Wounded Knee. We're going to talk about that. But guys, make sure that you are following up with the NRA, going to their website, checking out this article, and following up with all the things that they're asking us to do in terms of rallying our support.
Make sure that you contact your local representatives, your state representatives, because there is a lot of political noise in the Republican side of things, pro-gun side of things, commonly, especially with Trump. I mean, this is a really crazy election cycle. I mean, there's a lot of infighting on the Republican side with whether or not to support Trump, who's endorsed him, who hasn't, the things that he says. Well, guess what? I mean, a lot of people say that Trump isn't for women or women's rights, but remember what I talked about Hillary with Sharia law? Yeah, she isn't for women's rights. But I'm not going to get into that tangent. But we got people like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who says that he's not really opposed to, gun legislation, anti-gun legislation. So what that means, we don't know. We won't know until something gets passed through the Senate or it gets put into the Senate to be voted on. But Wounded Knee, okay? So Orlando was the largest mass shooting in the United States, as all the headlines read, but I'm going to give you a little bit of food for thought. There was actually a mass shooting back in 1890 that was committed by our federal government against Indian tribe. Okay, they were trying to push off of lands, federal lands at the time, that were basically confiscated. And, there's some different sides to the story. One of the stories is that these agents of the government went to, I think it was the 7th Cavalry, they went to disarm this group. And word is that it was totaling about 300 people, okay? Women, children, men, disarm them. So they disarmed, and there was one old fella who said, man, I paid a lot for this rifle. Okay, and you can't take it. And a shot rang off either on purpose or by accident, and then a massacre occurred, bloodbath. Upwards of 290 people were killed, women, children mostly. But this was an act committed by our federal government, and this was a mass shooting. A little food for thought. I mean, when you want to talk about the largest mass shooting or just recent history, you need to start looking back at old history as well and see the atrocities that our federal government, who is there to protect you, has committed in the past.
Keep that in mind.
So,
guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate all the support. Man cans are running just a little bit late this month. We do have some of the product coming in. We'll make our announcement video and get that out. I know some of you guys are kind of chomping at the bit because it's the 15th. You're wondering, where's the man can announcement? But don't worry, it is on the way. We thought that this was a little, obviously more important. They are available right now if you decide to go over to the site. If you want to wait on the video, we have that coming up here in the next couple of days. Thank you so much for the support. We've really been getting a lot of great emails, suggestions, thoughts from you guys, and it means a lot to us. We hope that people will be able to see the logic and some of the points that we brought up. And maybe if you're an anti-gunner, maybe we changed your mind a little bit, we hope. If you're a pro-gunner, you know what you need to be doing. Get on over to the NRA. Make sure your dues are current. Guys, help spread the word. Let's make sure this crap gets stopped in its tracks. We cannot stand for any erosion of our rights, no matter how small. It's just not going to happen under our watch. Okay, that's the way we have to look at this. Thank you for watching. Always be vigilant. Keep your head on a swivel. Carry everywhere you go. Take care of your families. And be a man among men.
Be an individual. That's the biggest thing with today's society is I think we're losing a lot of individualism. And a lot of people are going toward a collective mindset, and that's where the whole progressive socialist thing comes in. I mean, look at Bernie Sanders and all the support that he garnered, from kids who just like, oh, I just want to be taken care of. Well, no, I want to take care of my family, my wife, my kids. I don't need the government helping me out, but I need the tools in order to perform that and to do that and protect my family and protect my community. And those tools are firearms, and you can't take those away.
I think that all any average gun owner really wants is just to be on a level playing field with somebody trying to kill them.
Yep. I just want to be left alone.
How much is that to ask? I mean, I think that's your average person. So anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care, guys.